Today, let's take a look at Mindomo. I'm going to tell you what I like about it, what I don't like. I'm going to go over some of the features, and overall I'm going to tell you whether I think this is something you should check out or maybe pass on. So, let's do it! Hey there, it's Kevin, and just to give you an idea of who I am, I'm the author of a pretty cool visual mapping book called Visual Productivity, and I'm also the guy behind the Visual Mapping Review series, which means last year I did 7 reviews. This year I'm looking to do probably 20 to 30. What I do is I take a visual mapping program and I spend about a day with it, and I create a review using that program. I'm going to tell you what I like, what I don't like, and then obviously it's up to you to decide where you want to go from there, whether you want to jump on this thing, try something else, but it gives you an idea. In essence, I'm hopefully helping you cut through some of the clutter because there are a lot of programs out there. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Mindomo and some of my initial reactions. Now, when I looked at it, I gotta tell you, when I first saw it and read the specs and looked at everything, I was really excited about it. I think that Mindomo has a lot of potential. It's got the triple threat, which is awesome. And by triple threat, as far as visual mapping goes, I'm talking about having a desktop client, having some sort of web interface, and also having a mobile presence. Now, that was exciting to me. It has both iOS and Android. It also has Evernote integration, which is kind of cool, and Google Tools, which is another kind of cool thing. So overall, I'm looking at this thing, I'm going, oh my goodness, really cool. Now, I actually went in, I was like, okay, I'm going to take my iPhone, I'm going to download this app, it's going to be awesome. Unfortunately, they don't have it. It's not available on the iPhone. It's available on the iPad only. Android, I have an Android device, a phone. I was able to download it onto the Android device. So let's have a look at some of the features. I already mentioned that there's an app and web-based and all those good things, which is really cool because sometimes you just want to work on your computer, do something on the web, or go somewhere, and you can work from anywhere. But you still want to have that ability to go back to your phone. Because generally, you're working from your phone. Maybe you're putting things in on your computer, but you're working from your phone. The desktop version runs on Adobe Air, which in itself isn't a bad thing. And it runs pretty well. It's very similar as far as the layout goes to how it looks on the web. And it seemed pretty powerful. If you have a free account, you're not able to save the web-based version and go down to the actual desktop client. And that's one of the things that they've done to try and get you to upgrade and pay for their service. I looked into the Google Apps and the Evernote, and you know, it's fine. If you have Google Apps, it lets you save in a couple different formats. And if you have Evernote, it lets you pull items in from Evernote. And that's a neat idea too, so you can take all your things, throw them into Evernote, and then when you start working, you're able to grab those ideas and drop them into the Mindomo, into the visual map. The idea grabber is something that's neat as well. And that's more like a clipper. You can go in and you can take ideas from the web and throw them into the visual map as well. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the pricing structure. I'm just going to go up a little bit here. There we go. There are 4 pricing structures, including the free option. The free version lets you have 1 project, which is more just an overall a categorization tool, 3 maps within that, and it also doesn't let you add any multimedia to it. You can still add web links, but you can't add multimedia, you can't add images, and you can't add video to the free versions. The premium version is $36 for 6 months. You have to pay either every 6 months or every year. So it's $6 a month, and it's a little bit cheap. I think it's in the $5 range, 5 something, if you pay for the year. This allows for 1 user, but the big thing is it allows unlimited maps. So if you're there for $6 a month, you've got unlimited maps, and it's a gig of storage. So unless you're dropping a lot of video or a lot of pictures in, you're going to be fine as far as the space requirement goes. The next level up is the professional, $90 for 6 months, and again, there's a 10% discount for paying for the entire year up front. Again, limited to 1 user, but what happens is it gives you 5 gigs instead of 1 gig, which I'm not really convinced that you're going to use that much, again, unless you're heavy into multimedia. One of the big features is that you can now have guests, which means you can invite someone to come and start working on your visual map with you. They don't have to be a paid member, and that's one of the neat things about it. So you can take your paid membership and almost spread it around a little bit to a couple of friends or a couple of coworkers so they can help you build on your maps. So a neat idea there. The team level takes things one step further. $162 for 6 months, giving you 5 users. That's actually not too bad because it gives you a team interface. So which means you can all be working on the same visual maps as you go. Good for collaboration, and they give you more storage and a couple of other things as well. So definitely lots of options. I don't want to spend too much time on price, and you can decide whether it's going to be good or not for you. Let me tell you what I like about Mindomo, what I don't like, and I'll give you my overall impression of where I think this program is right now. Alright, so what I like a lot of things about it. This is a really good program. I enjoyed it a lot. One of the big things is that the cut and paste just works. So many times people limit, at least programs limit how you can cut and paste and how you can share things, and it's frustrating. I tested it out. I generally work in Xmind, a lot of you guys know that, and I copied my template, I pasted it into Mindomo, and it worked flawlessly. Love it. What that means is that even a free account is completely usable. That's a good thing, because sometimes they hamstring the free accounts and they're useless, and some people get frustrated because they put all their information in and then they can't get it out. So I like the idea of having the free accounts be usable. You can cut and paste and put things into Mindomo. When I tried and I was able to cut and paste out, it worked great. I'm gonna move this over. Good. Something else that's great is intuitive, I'll call them Windows controls. Enter gives me another node at the same level. If I hit tab, it goes deeper. If I want to add another node right in here, I go ahead and hit enter and I put new node. Enter. If I want to hit tab, and I go one level deeper. Good. Something else that I like is having the ability to just left click on this and just drag this map wherever I want. A neat feature that I really like as well is that the scroll button, if I click the scroll button, it works exactly the same way. That's really cool. Good job on that, guys. Something else I like is that a double click will add a new node where I want it. And that's as far as the main one. So let me just go back a little bit here. So if I'm here and I want to try and have a new node somewhere, I can choose on the right side, the left side. I'm just going to go here. I'm going to try and hide a little bit far on the left. I'll double click. Boom. And it comes all the way down to where I'm asking for it. So not a huge thing, but it's kind of neat. And if I want to hold down Control and double click, it gives me a floating topic. So again, neat, very intuitive. It works exactly how I would expect it. Another feature I liked was the menu arrow. I said on the main topic. So if I've highlighted this, you can see it's blue. So I've highlighted that particular one. There's a little down arrow I can click on. I'll click on the arrow, and it gives me several options. It's almost like a right-click context menu, only I'm just regular clicking, left clicking, and I get a lot of these ideas. So I can go ahead and I can change the font, I can change the colors, I can change how everything looks as far as the map goes. So it's neat that you're able to get that fairly quickly. I also wasn't sure about something at first, but the popular controls will pop up when you're editing a new node. That's a mouthful, but what I'm trying to tell you is that here, I'll create a new node, and you'll see, boom, right away, it gives me the font, it gives me the size, it gives me bolding. A lot of the popular ones will just pop up right away, so you have them at your fingertips. Now for me, I really don't use controls like this. I don't change fonts all the time. I don't have 20 different fonts in a visual map. So I think it's neat, and I'm not sure long term if this would be more frustration or whether I would start using this more. So that's up to you whether you want to like it or leave it. Next is the drag and drop. This is a really cool feature. If I want to drag and drop something, it's going to give me a red arrow that shows where it goes. So I'm just going to start moving this up. I'm going to left click on this, and I'm going to start dragging it. And you can see right away it gives me this detailed red arrow, so it shows exactly where it's going to go. As I come up, boom. I can come out, I can go up several levels, and I know exactly where it's going to be by the time I'm done. I'll go all the way back, and I can put it back exactly where it was. What I like about this is that just the red shows it up very clearly so you know where it's going to be. In other programs, it starts dragging. You're like, oh my goodness, where's it going? Okay, I think it's in the right spot. I'm not quite sure. This is almost one of those snapping things, like a grid snap, where it's like, boom, next, boom, next. And so it shows you it's going to go right here. I'm going to go and just get rid of a couple of these things since I'm going to make this available after for everyone to have a look at. So I'll make sure I keep it fairly neat and tidy. The last thing I liked was the sharing options. They've got good sharing options, and I'm not even talking about the export options. They've got okay export options, but for me, I love the ability to have copy and paste. If I can copy and paste, and when I paste it, it goes into a tab document, I'm happy. That means I can take it wherever I want. That means my document, my information is not locked in. So if I choose that I don't want to use this program in the future, or maybe I want to take some more information and bring more into this one, I can do it. Very nice and very simple. A neat idea and a great use for Mindomo is to embed links in a website. Let me show you how we're going to do this. We're going to head over to Share. We'll click on the Share button. It'll bring up a small window. I'm going to go up to here where it says Public on the Web. We'll hit Change. And now it's going to give us a few options. So you can have a private map or public. Obviously, if we're going to share this on a website, it's going to need to be public. So make sure it's public. And then we can just choose the embed feature. Click on embed, and it'll give us exactly what we need to copy. We take that, we copy, paste it into the HTML section of our website, and now you've got a visual map embedded inside your website. There we go. All right, let's get into a couple of things that I'm not as big a fan of. What I don't like. And there weren't that many things. These things may seem a little nitpicky, but I want to try and point out things that I think would be frustrating for me after using this for an extended period of time. So some of the things I'm not as much of a fan of. One is the controls. Now, there are controls on 3 sides. The left side's got controls, the top part has controls, and even down by the bottom on the right-hand side and over here, there are controls. There's controls everywhere. And I wish there was a way I could hide the controls. If there was either a keyboard command or just a little link, a little click, I could just click and hide everything. I really don't think they're necessary. Another knock against the controls is that the bar across the top is really thick. So what's frustrating for me is when I'm working out and about and I've got my laptop, I've got a 15-inch monitor on my laptop, and every pixel matters. So if bars can't be removed, if they can't be hidden, and they're wider than they need to be, it's a bit of a frustration point for me. Now, clearly, I understand they want to sell you the upgrade. You know, upgrade to premium. Good for them. Yeah, I've got no problems with that. They're trying to make it stand out. I think we could have done still the same job, still the same effect, but had that a little bit thinner. You can see I also put in here too that I don't really need much convincing. This is a very solid program. I've had a good experience using this today. And you can probably tell that if I'm complaining about the width of the bar at the top of the page, there's a lot of good things, a lot more positive than negative things about this program. Now, the other thing is, I don't know, it gets to me is that it's the undo and redo and add node buttons. Here's a, undo, here's a redo, here's add a node. These are all things that I never use. I would never go up here and say undo. I always control Z, right? Control Y to redo something. So these are controls that I'm never going to use. So for me, I would love to just be able to hide those and get rid of it. So that's my little getting up on my soapbox about the controls. And in line with that, I'm not going to need the left-hand toolbar that often either. So I would almost rather have this left-hand toolbar moved up along the top and give me the option of hiding a top or one single toolbar, wherever you want to put it, but probably the top, and then letting me have a ton of extra space, especially when I'm working on a mobile device or even like a 15-inch laptop. Something else that's a bit of a frustration point for me is the focus on the node. My question here is, how can I get the focus off the node? You can see right now this node is circled in blue. Great. That way I know exactly what I'm editing, where I am. But the downside is if I click off it, it stays on. As far as I know, there's no way to get the blue off of there unless I click on another node and then it just moves it over somewhere else. And again, not a big deal, but sometimes I just want to have this map looking clean. And if I can't get off of there, yeah, I could go to the main idea. I would rather just have a way where if I clicked off on it, click somewhere, blue is off the map. The last thing I'm going to pick on is auto formatting with the nodes. What I mean by that is in some programs, if you add a new node, everything sort of spins around or it moves. And this does to a point. Let me open a couple things and we'll see if we can get a couple things to move. So there you can see it moving a little bit, kind of moving again a little bit. But if it go too far, it just kind of goes up and down. It's not spinning around. It's not keeping things even the way I would like them to be. The people over at Mindomo have given us a way to get around this. We go in and just do that quick. And it's to right click or just to get into the extra menu. I'm going to head over to where it lets me choose how it looks. And I can go down and say reset subtopics position. I'll click on this and we might get a little bit of a reset on this. There we go. It changed it a little bit. So there is a way to get around that and make things tighter and make it look a little bit neater, but it doesn't happen automatically. And I get because it's a web app that you'd have to have different, extra calls back to the server or whatever else. I don't know. That's something that I wish would almost happen, or there was an option that I could turn it on and turn it off at my whim. Let's go back. And that is what I do not like. Overall impressions, clearly you can tell from the tone of this whole review, I'm very impressed with Mindomo. It's something that I've never used before today, so I'm completely new to it. I've heard about it, but I had a great time using it. They had The formatting tool is right in front of me, which I liked. It was, like I mentioned before too, I might start tinkering more than usual because of that. I also like the fact that they have the triple threat. They have the desktop client, which actually works pretty well, but it's slightly limited as far as how things connect when you have the free version. But they also have a great version that works as far as the web version, and they've got mobile, just not for my iPhone. Oh man. If they would have had an iPhone app that would work good, this would, I think, would be a pretty big recommendation. I'm still looking for that great tie-in, a program that's got everything. And they came close. They did a good job. They've done a really good job. They've been in business since 2006, I guess. I got off their website. And one of the bigger things for me that may not be big to you, but let me tell you, if you're moving a lot of information around, it's important. That's copy and paste. This is really, really big. This reduces the need, or can even eliminate the need, to have export formats, because you can copy it, paste it somewhere else. You can move your information around and not have things locked. And you can control how your data looks, where it goes. I realize I'm a bit of a power user when it comes to visual maps, but this is really, really big and something that's important when you look at this. So there you go. That's Mindomo in a nutshell. I really recommend, if you're looking at something, even a web-based option, this should probably be one of the ones that you at least check out. I've got no problems recommending Mindomo as far as my one day with it as being on your short list of items to check out as far as a visual mapping solution. So thanks for watching. We'll talk soon. If you're interested in going deeper with visual maps, check out Visual Productivity. Just follow along as I walk you through business, personal, and learning topics step by step. Head over to yourmakingme.com to check it out.